Well, hello, everyone. Again, welcome back. This is Valentine's Day weekend. I am Gary Godsoe. Welcome to Velocity Online Racing coverage of Round 4 of Season 13 of the VOR Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship, as we come to you today from the fastest short track in the world, Iowa Speedway, for the Iowa 300, presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. Joining me in the booth today, as always, is Clendy. And Clendy, I think really with 300 laps today on hand, that is a lot of laps here, even though it's not a lot of miles. We're looking at a bit of a endurance race. A lot of these guys are going to have some very tired arms at the end of these 300 laps, which is only about 260 miles.
Yeah, as the saying goes, Gary, in order to finish first you must finish.
Yes.
And when it comes to this 7/8 of a mile bull ring, or some fraction just under a mile, depending on who you're asking, in the heartland of America, sometimes simple works the best. Just easy in, easy out, mind your P's and Q's, find yourself clean and alive at the end, and you'll be right in contention.
There are your current conditions, and the track tip out there actually is pretty hot. 111 degrees now, just went up a degree while we're just reading this. 82 degrees ambient. Murph goes to the top right there with a 181.8 with about 90 seconds left to play, and we're watching that's Tim Bree as he smacked the wall coming off of 4. But that is your top 5. Yeah, Murph, Nunez, Salvazzi, O'Sullivan, and Wagner. And speaking of hard to beat, let's take a look at today's driver's points coming into the round. Julian is your leader by 10. And then it's Silvazzi. Orman not in the lineup today, I believe. I do not see him. Our defending series champion going to take this as a drop week. Nunez is in 4th. There is a tie between Silvazzi and Orman, but just by virtue of starting today's race, Silvazzi will get officially 3rd for most of this race, and then we'll see how he finishes at the end of the day. Christensen, Forsyth, Millward, Bree, and Tessera, your top 10. There you see your entire top 20. Everything's still pretty tight with points, and we are still in the early stages of the season. Here is the schedule. And, of course, we are round 4 today at Iowa. Then we go next week to our second road course of the season in Montreal. And then we start our month of May in March, where we will do Indy 500 qualifying and then a full 500-mile race March 15th. So we got a little time before then, a lot of testing time these guys could take to get on the oval there. Then Nashville, Long Beach, Homestead, and then we will wrap up at Auto Club Speedway. Qualifying is done. And let's get in today's starting lineup for the Iowa 300 presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. Murph on the pole, and as you said, Clindy, you think he's going to be unbeatable today. 181.8. Nunez says, I'm not going to let you get too far away, at least not on this start. Nunez second with a 181.7. Silvazzi's going to play smart today. Remember, he was in a position to really get some points at Milwaukee, and did not capitalize. He is starting 3rd today on the inside of O'Sullivan for row 2. Then we got Wags and Altina back in row 3. Strauss and Solwich back in row 4. Seigers and Forsyth in row 5. Pennyworth and Tessera back in row 6. Lovern, Bree, row 7. Molina Christensen, row 8. Santos, Millward, row 9. Whitaker, Gilles back in row 10. Got a good sized field today, Clindy.
Yeah, 23 different cars today.
Bonnie and Inch in row 11, and Shane Coker will be bringing up shotgun on the field here in row 12. And as you mentioned, 23 cars starting, which is a pretty good number for a speedway this size, especially as fast as it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm excited for about 20, 25 laps into each of these runs when, after a single file restart, the leader's going to be in dirty air right behind last place. So that lap traffic's really going to give the leader a hurdle to climb over as they manage that dirty air and try to hope the lappers play nice while they're defending their position while on the tail end of the lead lap.
Remember, 2 laps before we go green here. It gives us time to talk about the track records in real life. Scott McLaughlin holds that, set that last year, the speed of 188.2. So we're a little bit off that. The career wins leaders here at Iowa are Joseph Newgarden. He is your king of corn with 6 wins in the last 12 races here. Ryan Hunter-Reay has 3. Dario Franchitti, James Hinchcliffe, the mayor each have 2 here. And your 2024 winners when the NTT IndyCar Series had their doubleheader here was Scott McLaughlin and Will Power. This remains one of the few active racetracks on the NTT IndyCar schedule that Scott Dixon is yet to get a W at. Hard to believe.
Might just buy tickets to the doubleheader this year and pour some water on the racetrack when anybody who's not Dixon goes by.
Do it.
Bring big old gallons. No, I know some teams and hire tire snipers, but you know, I'm not about that.
We get 7 sets of tires for these cars. 1 in the car, or 7 in the, 1 on the car, 6 in the pits. We're at 100% fuel. 300 laps, 262.5 race miles. Pit road speed limit is 40 miles per hour. We will have to enter off the backstretch. So that will be, if we go green flag pit stops, that will be very critical, getting on and off pit road very carefully. Coming to green flag this time by for
One quick update from
300
pit
laps.
road. Shane Coker is having a computer restart malfunction, so
Ooh.
he has missed the green.
Early mechanical already. Hopefully he can get in and get some laps in. And Silvazzi setting it to the inside to take it to second over Nunez. A good jump for him. Move him up to second. Not a good start for O'Sullivan. Down a spot. Actually, he's right where he started. He just didn't get a good jump. And Silvazzi decided, I'm going to the top lane. And here is Nunez. He put a little bit of a block down the main straight on O'Sullivan. I'm sure O'Sullivan didn't like that. He passes him on the high side.
High side's fast, especially with clean air, but if you rip it too hard, you're going to wish you didn't in about 30 laps.
Murph, purple lap, 175.8. And we got a pretty decent battle of cars in the vicinity of Craig Forsyth. To Sarah ripping the high side with Pennyworth.
All the way back to Lovern, you got 6 cars under a blanket here fighting for the tail end of the top 10.
And we're going to go 3 wide off the corner to Sarah, Pennyworth, Lovern.
Say it every time. I love Ben Pennyworth's car. It looks just like a fishing lure. It's
It
so
does.
attractive.
I love it, yeah.
I know in the Formula Indy series, we've got somebody who drives the fish car, but this is the fishing lure car.
Up ahead of Pennyworth is Forsyth and Steiger. Steiger on the outside, trying that high line. Now he's going to swap down to the inside and try to get the inside lane on Forsyth. Needs to make that work now, because the longer we get into this run, these tires warm up. That bottom lane does not agree to easy passing like it does early in the stint.
Yeah, a couple of critical things you need to keep in mind as a driver here is when you take the bottom, you need to commit to the bottom and not push up off of it. So you need to get your left sides as close to that yellow line as you can manage without pushing too much speed. It looks like Pennyworth is going to capitalize here because Steiger wasn't able to execute getting all the way to the bottom without pushing.
But there's that high side momentum. Yeah,
Pennyworth did the same flaw down in turn 1. So Pennyworth's abandoned that and gone back to the high side. Another thing to note is that the high side in turns 1 and 2 have a really nasty bump. Right about where it says
here.
Iowa 1.
Boom, there, yep.
There's a bump on the bottom, and there's a worse bump up in the 3rd lane, the 4th lane, right by the wall. So both of those do not exist in turns 3 and 4. There's no bumps there. It's nice and smooth because the tunnel to get into the track is over in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you'll see the bump right here. We're watching out of the right there, of the rear attenuator. It's just above the rear attenuator of Craig Forsyth's car. Watching Jaco Steiger's right behind him, trying to run him down. There you see Pennyworth, Lovern, Tessera, and Christensen just off into the distance. Here comes Steiger. Not quite makes it to the inside. Here's our new camera angle from an homage to what Robbie Gordon had on his car from the 94 Indy 500, right over the left rear tire. And as you see here at Clinty, you're not in a straight line very often here. Not for long.
No,
you don't get a chance to rest.
This track is basically Chicagoland's little brother, except for the backstretch is actually straight instead of curved. I'd say that you have wheel input for 90% of your lap time here at this track.
It looks like the top 10 is kind of separated in the single file. That we're still watching this battle between Steiger and Forsyth. Now Forsyth to the inside of Solwedge.
I think all of that is a product of this track temperature, Gary. If it comes down later in the afternoon, I think we should see some more close proximity racing, but right now you cannot afford for your tires to wear any more than possible. So everyone's trying to hook that yellow line and just back every corner up because they know if they don't, this long race is going to slip away. because their tires are going to melt.
I think I'm butchering Jaco's name. I think it's Seegers. Seegers. There's no T there for Steiger. It's Seeger. Sorry.
Nunez is closing in on Altena. Nunez doing just a little better job of committing to the bottom every lap here.
Julian staying in that second lane off the bottom, trying to get that momentum up high. He is in the draft envelope of his teammate right in front of him, O'Sullivan.
If Luis wants to be cute, what he could do is kind of bait Julian into thinking that he's going to go to the bottom every time. And he got a good drive off that time. So coming into turn 1 or turn 3, he has momentum like that. He can fade to the bottom, but then actually take the outside with all that extra speed and use the third lane to his advantage. Because Julian has the option right now at any time just to cut the air off of Lewis's nose, and that honestly would dispel any forward momentum he has. But they're both playing nice right now and letting each other run the lane they want.
If you enjoy Velocity Online race, oh, sorry, I was going to pay some bills. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was going to say, honestly, that's just really good sportsmanship between the two. So,
if you enjoy Velocity's Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you'll miss out on future VOR iRacing broadcasts, which will be next week. The Iconic Series will be at Legacy, Kentucky. And the IndyCar Championship will be at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. So a bit of a different weekend. Clindy and I will be on the old virtual jet between Florence, Kentucky and Montreal. We can catch a direct flight from Cincinnati up into up to Montreal there. So we'll do the mile-and-a-half super speedway at DW12, and then we'll go later the next day, IR18s at the road course in Montreal on the Ile de Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, actually. But it's still Notre Dame because I'm from Indiana.
Notre Dame. Olina, Millward, and Santos have been mixing it up here at the tail end of the lead lap. Olina just went by Millward, and Santos has been trying to find his way back around.
They're not in danger of going down a lap yet. And I don't have my supplemental overlay out going here, so I need to get that up.
I think Murphy's probably about 25 laps away from catching the rear of the field at this pace differential. So it'd be about lap 50 if they keep running the same difference of lap times right now.
All right. I think my supplemental overlay is hidden right now. Yes, it is. There it is. Here it is. All right, get back to business here. There's an update for that too. Good Lord. There's an update for ATVO out there, and I was like, no, we're not applying that one. There was an update for OBS the other day. We're not applying that one for a while until I get a chance to test.
And heaven forbid you run Windows 11. I've heard horror stories from everyone I know, including Shane Coker, who's still stuck in the middle of that update.
28 of 300, caution free. Knock on wood, anybody? Find some wood. Okay, we've knocked on it, we're good. So 29 of 300. No cautions yet. Smooth sailing. Murph, your leader. Take a look at him. He's pulled out to a 0.6 of a second lead over Silvazzi. O'Sullivan third, Altena fourth, Nunez fifth. Then it's Wagner, Strauss, Forsyth, Solwich, and Bittyworth, your top 10. 22 cars still running. Looks like the 23rd car did not get a chance to start. That's too bad, but you want to remind everybody that that is Shane. He's got a big weekend ahead of him. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, over on the P1 channel, will be their opener of their second season for the Votive Indy Oval Series.
Yeah, once the Daytona 500 wraps up, go ahead and turn on P1, turn on that Votive race. I'll be in it at Michigan. the race that was made by Robert Malechka III, we're going to be absolutely ripping, slipping, and sliding around that 2-mile oval. It'll be fun.
And he supplies the setups for that league. Yep. And let's get back to that Nunez-Altena battle, because Nunez is right back there again.
Julian just conceding the bottom to Lewis, I think, is really going to hurt his long-run pace here. I think Lewis is just biding his time and very happy to hunt that yellow line, basically fish for it, land it maybe 1 out of every 5 laps here perfectly, but you know, that's better than running behind Julian or all the way up top. I think Julian's tires would be begging for mercy here anytime.
Look at these lap times around here, 18-second laps. The world's fastest short track. There's probably some super modified guy out there going, there's a faster track someplace. This is IndyCar we're talking about. Riding with Nunez over his shoulder. Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead, Clindy, pick it up.
Do you think if they put Indy cars at Nashville Fairgrounds, they would run, I mean, they'd run faster lap times, probably.
God, they would need to pave that place. There is, I think, Lewis had to lift there.
Yes, just about obliterated the outside wall, but you know, that's patience is the better part of
valor. Discretion and valor.
Exactly.
There is, I think there's a size as small as you can go for IndyCar in terms of a track, and I think anything less than 3/4 at Richmond is probably not good. I just don't see the racing being very good there. And that would be kind of something along the lines of what we would see at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Although, there is a video on YouTube of Tony Bettenhausen doing some demonstration laps in an Indy car at Nashville, not Superspeedway, the Fairgrounds course. It is on YouTube. Check it out. So if you ever really wanted to see what an Indy car would look like in real life in the mid-'80s on the Fairgrounds course there in Nashville, check that video out. It is out there.
I have a cool 3-way battle here between Bree, Christensen, and Lovern off of turn 4. The teammates are side by side, and Bree's wondering how to get by them both.
Bree sends it to the high side, right up on Lovern. He's trying to keep that momentum up because I think the only way he knows he can pull this pass off is if he needs to keep that momentum up. He goes a lane higher there.
If you can get half a wing worth of clean air, the car's just going to rotate so much better for your tires. I'm really surprised to not see anybody running the fence in 3 and 4. I see some light marbling up there, but trust me, if I was in this race, I'd be trying it, especially in traffic. I mean, obviously, if you have clean air, you want to be on the bottom, but...
True. Bree pulls off the pass around Christensen, move Lovern and Bree to 13th and 14th. Christensen back to 15th. Here goes Bree underneath Lovern. And now move Bree up to 13th. So Bree, man on the move at the moment.
I think Gary has the broadcast up. He heard me say, he goes, I guess I'll try the wall. to ill effect. Don't do what I say. O'Sullivan is also reeling in Silvazzi here for a second, and Altena has now started taking the bottom from Nunez, so a couple of developments here at the front.
44 of 300. When do we start thinking about first stops?
Every time we run the Velocity Online Racing Series, Gary, I get the fuel window wrong by 10 to 15 laps. So I'm just going to wait until we see the first stop, and then I'm going to use that number for the rest of the afternoon. I would assume they run full tanks, right?
Yep.
I would assume they're going to try to break this race into 70 lap chunks. So 70, 140, 210. And then that last run, or it'd be 73 to 75 laps every time. And then that'd be the minimum number of stops. So with full fuel, you can do that pretty easily. I don't think you're going to see anybody trying to go 100 laps on a tank. That's a very huge save, very hard to do.
Hunter Smith in chat says the AIS ran at the fairgrounds. The AIS was the American IndyCar Series. They basically ran older IndyCar chassis with a stock block engine in them. And quite a few drivers that have participated in Indy 500 had also been in the AIS. I think Buddy Lazier is one of those.
So prior to the ARCA acquisition of NASCAR, or NASCAR's acquisition of ARCA, is pretty similar. They just run the cup bodies with a different engine, right?
Yeah, and it was definitely in class of prestige. It was in a slightly lower class, and it was not as well promoted, and typically ran on different race courses that normally you would not see Indy cars at, such as Nashville. But it had a pretty healthy history. There is a guy on Twitter, I think he goes by the name of SK Chow, and he is a big fan of the series. So you want to follow him on Twitter if you want to learn more about the American IndyCar Series. I think Bill Temporo, who raced and I think won Indy 500, was the kind of the chairman of the board and founder of that series.
Harry, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's lap 52, and Mark Murphy has caught the tail end of the field, so my math was correct today. Look at me go. And Murph is doing everything right so far, just being very patient, letting the car drift to the bottom. Traffic takes the bottom, you find clean air. It's going to go right by Inch, no problem at all. And Lovern's next on the docket. Look at how much speed he rolls through the center of the corner. That's what clean air does for your tires all run long when you take care of them by using the bottom. And I think Nunez, his tires are there. I think he could, if he really pushed, get around El Pena. And he could probably do it easily on the outside. On the inside, it's going to be a little bit of a harder hill to climb. Silvazzi and El Sullivan now navigating this traffic side by side. Three around Lovern. What a move from Sullivan.
Yeah, no kidding. And he gets this position, and that was his teammate helping. Now, Lovern, I don't know if Lovern was actually helping, but that was around Lovern, so they could at least communicate on that. Lovern going to pit road for his scheduled stop. As soon as he goes down a lap, just get out of the way, go to pit road, get that new set of rubber and fuel on.
So if this race goes green for a while, but not to the end, that would be very good for Lovern. If he gets a caution anytime the next 20 laps, it's going to be miserable for him, because he'll be caught 2 or more laps down. Probably 3, since he went down 1 on pace.
Oh, Silvazzi slides right up in front of Inch. It is Murph, it is O'Sullivan, it is Silvazzi. There you see Lovern coming off a pit road after his first scheduled stop. Altena 4th, Nunez in 5th, and there is a heck of a battle with lap traffic going on behind him. And Julian now and Nunez side by side at the start-finish line. Nunez down low. Julian just doesn't have a place to go. He has Inch in front of him. They come off wheel to wheel.
Inch is trying to get out of the way to respect the blue flag rule, but Julian wanted to go all the way to the top, and he just guessed wrong 2 corners in a row.
There is a blue flag rule on ovals for this league as well. So drivers need to yield to the leaders. Certainly when they go down, they have every right to fight to stay on the lead lap, but once they get passed by the leader and they go down a lap, that right to fight is not as, legislated.
You surrender your ability to fight to stay on any lap once you are 1 lap down.
Yeah.
But while you are on the lead lap, you can tooth and claw and fight for everything you've got to stay there.
You got to fight for your right to stay on the lead lap. I don't think the Beastie Boys really meant that.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Here's Nunez. He's going to slide it to the inside of Julian. Scoots up a little bit on the corner exit. He's still there going into 3. They're going to go side by side along through 3 and 4. He's not going to have the momentum on the bottom side, but he's still going to be able to have the position. Nope, he slides back underneath behind Julian, and the battle resets. And in front of Julian now, he has Molina. Molina trying to stay high, getting out of the way.
Look at the run Nunez will have on exit
Whoa, here we go, side by side of the line, and Nunez getting the spot.
And all of that is from Nunez's dedication to the bottom, because Julian just kind of let him have it. A little extra bit of tire life let Nunez commit to a big push from center to exit to generate that huge run.
Meanwhile, we missed the pass for second. Is O'Sullivan and Salvazzi exchange positions.
We didn't miss it. It's when O'Sullivan went 3 wide around Salvazzi and Lovern.
Oh, okay, good.
We saw that.
We did. Okay, good.
Yeah. Don't sell yourself short, Gary.
Memory's running short here, yeah.
Need some more RAM in that noggin.
There's Murph. He's now encountered Hugo Gilles. Gilles currently in 15th. Just recently.
10 more laps.
Yep, and he just recently put down Millward. I bet this is a fun race for Millward. This is not his first rodeo at Iowa, I don't think, but this is definitely a bull ring that is very hard to wrangle if you're not an oval expert. He's been learning his oval craft, getting better. Every lap, he gets better. But this is a different beast in Iowa versus, say, I don't know, Michigan. Same shaped racetrack.
Kind of like you copy and paste one and then click and drag from the corner to keep the proportions, but just make it bigger or smaller.
Yeah. And there we see Hugo Gilles coming to pit road for his scheduled stop. So we'll see when the leaders decide to come in. Everyone down to now 15th has not stopped yet. Forsyth to Matthias Strauss back. I think Strauss is the first of the leaders among the top 10 to come on in. He's going to go try for the undercut here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's doing that 70-lap sprint versus the 75-lap marathon. Or, you know, just try to undercut a little bit here, and if you catch a yellow any time throughout the race, right, maybe those extra seconds you got on that fresh rubber will pay off when everyone chooses to get tires under that next yellow.
Well, since Nunez passed Julian, he has pulled away quite a bit, and now he's sneaking in on Salvazzi.
And O'Sullivan, they're all...
Yeah, they actually, something happened to O'Sullivan, and the gap really closed to second. I think O'Sullivan's just...
traffic.
Yeah, I think he's just dirty air, one of which in front of him is a teammate, so I'm assuming that teammate will try to stay out of his way. You look, they're not in the same line there. Here's Nunez. He is greeting Salvazzi, and they're both coming to, at least one of them. Salvazzi and O'Sullivan coming to pit road. Scheduled stop. Very slippery on the apron. Look at all that dirt, all that clag. They got to get down to the limiter, to the cone speed limiter there. So now they're on the button.
Only 40 miles an hour.
God, it's like crawling.
Murphy's going to put them all a lap down here as he goes long. If Murphy gets a yellow here, he's won the race. I mean, it'd be him and Luis Nunez, right? It's a two-horse race at the Dog and Pony Show. Oh, here it is. There's a yellow in turn 3. Solo wedge. Altena was still on the track, but he aborts his pit stop.
Goodness gracious. Wow. Mark's got to be partying in the cockpit. I got to tell you that right now. If he hasn't started drinking already, he's going to start drinking now. We'll see what happens. And Soul Edge, this is about a half a lap before it happened. Or actually, a full lap. I think it happened in turns 1 and 2. We'll see what happens. Soul Edge. No, I believe it's coming to pit road, and he aggressively comes down pit road and grabs the apron, unloads the car into the turn 3 wall. And that's... we talked about it. We said it already leading into that. The pit road entrance is very dangerous here.
I think it was actually his rear brake bias that upset the car. So I think he was on the brakes to try to get on the flat, and the rear bias locked him up, angled his rears, and then the transitions hooked him back into the wall. So it was a 1-2 punch between slowing down and angles.
And there you see a throwback to the 1995 Indy 500 with Wagner and Forsyth with their liveries. Wagner in the Scott Pruitt, Pat Patrick Firestone sponsored. They were the team that tested for the Firestone tires that are basically contemporary now in IndyCar racing. So, and everything you see on tire-wise for IndyCar racing, it kind of restarted back when Firestone re-entered IndyCar racing in the very early to mid-90s after being out of the sport for a very long time. And they started with that effort with Pat Patrick Racing and Scott Pruitt.
So we're going to have a bit of a mixed bag on strategy here. Murphy's going to have Millward right behind him, who is 3 laps down, but pit under this yellow and will have fresh tires.
Look at all these people are going to get a wave around. Half the
Miller's
field
getting sent to the back.
Half the field is getting a wave around here.
It's way more than half. It's a
Right.
plurality of drivers. And if you see, Liam O'Sullivan is the last car taking the wave. So... Oh, did Liam not go a lap down? I'm showing him in the tail end of the lead lap already. Oh, because he's ahead of Murphy about to take the wave.
He's going to get the wave around there. I just circled his car. So he is going to... Everybody in front of Murph. That is the car in the center of your screen right there. The red, white, and blue IAR car. Everybody in front of him will get the wave around right before we go green. That is an IndyCar rule. The leader always brings the field back to green flag racing. And there we hear people getting the wave around as they start to accelerate around. And
Somebody beefed it.
Oh, did someone spin? Oh, wow. We got debris on the front stretch. Who was that?
I can't. It's Silvazzi.
Oh,
Silvazzi
no.
just tried to goose it up to get around the pace car, spun out, lost his right front wing, and now all the waivers are not going to have enough time to get around.
Oh, no. This is... Silvazzi did not need this. He needs to put 2 halves of the race together. He's got qualifying covered, and here he goes. He gooses it and just... Oh...
Okay, the wave rounds did make it to the tail end, but O'Sullivan's going to be at a huge disadvantage. He basically has 3 green flag laps plus that wave lap. His tires are basically 6 laps older, and he's the last car on the racetrack. O'Sullivan will probably go down just due to having to race hard through the pack here. Look at his pace differential for the cars around him.
O'Sullivan back in 7th, and yeah, he's got his work cut out for him. We got contact between, that is Seigers and Sullivan as they're trying to get around Santos. Santos slow through the corner. He might be down. Oh, a little bit of a side check and grabbing the apron, O'Sullivan. And now Silvazzi coming to pit road with that broken wing plane, and he needs to get it replaced. Murph sets a purple lap.
Give a shout to Craig Forsyth and Matt Wagner. Both of them are up from where they were running previously. Forsyth is the biggest mover, I believe. He is up 6 spots.
Yeah, your big movers at the moment. We got Bree up 8. We got Whitaker up 10. There's Bree. We had him on camera just
Sorry,
momentarily.
Braden. Didn't mean to sell you short, Braden. Way to go. Up 10 spots. What an accomplishment.
And there is Whitaker in a very similar painted car. But a good run. Great run for guys who've not been in this league very long.
All right, so now we get to see the other side of that coin, Gary, where Altena's aversion to the bottom and preference for the top will allow him to race Nunez here very, very aggressively at the beginning of the run. And Nunez, being a good sport about it, knowing that he was given the bottom the whole first run, just gives Altena the top. Pulls over for it. Look, he's giving him the whole top on the straightaway. He's saying, take it, man. I want the bottom. Altena has a run here. Dials up that yellow line and move
Not quite. Let's see. Here comes Nunez back.
No, I think Altena's just really, really ready to burn up his rubber here to secure this second position and have absolutely uncontested clean air right behind Murph. Because if he can just run that top line while Murph runs the bottom, he's going to be very happy with that. That clean air is just as good as the lead.
And
the
now,
little extra tire dig from lane 2 is not like that.
And now he tries to run down Murph. Couple drivers in the lineup looking for a big statement race today. Julian, one of them. Murph, another. I'll tell you what, Craig Forsyth, despite his consistency, he could sure use a win.
Greg is the model of consistency. If I could put $50 Canadian on that man getting a top 5 in any race he's in, I think I would come out ahead almost every time. Nunez is not going quietly. He's back to the inside of Altena. Oh, O'Sullivan's going to be picking him off here to a corner. Gets inched this corner. Now Strauss is next.
Anyway, shout out everybody in chat. Bruno Miranda, the Storm is here. Bruno, what's going on, man? It's been a while since we haven't seen you, man. We got to get you back in the car here. We got Maddie in there as well. Maddie, what's up? So close to getting a win last weekend here at Iowa. Hunter Smith, Ryan Walker, my commentary partner when we start the IIS starting March 1st when we go to Sebring.
Ryan was also a big player in that iconic
He almost got that win there, too. Yeah.
We thought he was going to lead foot his way to feather footing, saving gas. You know, you go fast enough, you click off the laps fast enough, your engine runtime is the same. Maybe that's better for economy. Just came up a little short.
Top 7 on the lead lap, 95 of 300. We're just at a third of the way through this thing. I tell you, that badly timed caution there at the pit stops really shook this field up. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. Let's get Murphy on the camera here as we're watching Julian in the battle with Nunez. But I'm not really sure if those guys a lap down could get back into this thing. But it's still a long, long race to go. We still have 200 more laps.
So, Gary, it's going to snowball for all of those drivers that took the wave around. They have less fuel and worn tires relative to Murphy and all the drivers that got to pit under yellow. So if they want to try to go long and catch a yellow like Murphy and company did on the first stint, they will have to save aggressively to make up the fuel difference. And it's really not plausible. At this point, their only hope is to hope that undercutting into a caution in the middle of a cycle, rather at the end of the cycle, will help them gain time.
Julian now putting some space between himself and Nunez.
I think Nunez is running a measured pace, lifting, making sure he hits the bottom, whereas Julian's, just kind of ripping it a little more aggressively in the middle lane just to make lap time now.
Showing you the gaps on the timing tree right now. 1.5 back to Julian from our leader, Murph. Another half second back to Nunez. Another 0.7 of a second back to Forsyth. 0.6 back to Wagner. And then a big gap, 2.6 back to Bree. And another 3 seconds back to O'Sullivan. That is your lead lap cars.
O'Sullivan certainly has the pace to be running higher than he is. Like his last lap was nearly 0.3 of a second better than Timothy Bree. Just he restarted the tail end of all of the cars, right? So where he's running on track now is all those cars he passed previously were not for position. Every single one of them.
Pretty much all those cars you see behind him on the racetrack, he had to pass those guys. And you saw the battle that he was in with, who was that, Santos, and who else was in that?
Molina, maybe?
Molina, no. I think it was a Molina?
Millward.
And a lot of wheel banging going on there as he wanted to kind of make his way through. Get going while the getting was good, as they like to say on the East Coast. 105 now of 300.
Barry Lovern looking to make a move here on Millward.
Let's go back and take a look at that.
Lovern's really got the high side ripping. He's really carrying momentum well off the corner and through the center. Look at that.
Oh, not that time. Not that time.
Oh, Gary, I can't. Oh, you're doing so good, man.
Hey, when you run the high side, Clindy, you run the high side. That's one of the the benefits of the high side. The risk is you run out of room really quick.
Honestly, you run out of room on the bottom with the apron and people pinching you down. I'd rather know that the wall is right there, and it usually doesn't even hurt you that bad, right? You bounce right off, you keep going. So long as you don't hit it, right? You can kiss it, you can hold its hand, you can be a friendly, nice guy to the wall, and it'll be friendly and nice to you. But if you so much as flirt or touch the apron, you get smacked into oblivion, man. So I prefer the wall to the apron, that's for sure.
If you're just joining us, this is Blossy Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Championship, the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from Iowa Speedway for the Iowa 300 presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning, where we've completed now 109 of 300 scheduled laps. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so don't miss out on the next race, which will be the VOR Iconic Series at Legacy, Kentucky next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You won't want to miss it.
This is kind of the story here. Lovern ran really, really hard to try to pass Millward, and now his tires are cooked. Millward has already put, looks like about almost a second now back to Gary, when they were side by side just 2.5 laps ago.
Get a battle for 11th brewing here. Seegers and Christensen. This is for 11th. Both these drivers are 1 lap down because of just coming to pit road when that caution came out.
They better not look in their mirror because it's soon to be 2.
Uh-oh.
Stars and stripes are coming.
Mark the Shark is coming.
He is a bit like old DW. He's Jaws.
That might be an appropriate name. When you get him in the interview room, he does not want to stop. He is the Energizer Bunny.
On track, in the interview booth, on comms. Always got a motor mouth or a motor foot.
I had him on one interview one time, and while he was still in the middle of his interview, I was getting DMs from other people watching the race, and like 2 of them almost said the exact same thing. He's still going. And that's the Energizer Bunny right there. If Mark wanted,
goes by.
I tell you what, if we'll go back to Bree here. I tell you, if Mark wants to get into the old Duracell car, Raul Boisel sponsored Duracell car, that would be entirely appropriate. Him on Duracell power.
I mean, he could even just make some of the portions of his car silver, right? So get some silver stripes on there, put the little Energizer logo in black in that silver stripe. Look pretty good, I think. Chat, check me out.
Didn't either Dixon or Franchitti, back when it was Target Chip Ganassi, and Target was and Chip Ganassi they would have full sponsorship of certain products that Target would sell on their cars. Wasn't there an Energizer-sponsored IndyCar? I think there was.
I can't. I mean, I know they've done NASCAR with that same agreement with Chip, but I do not know if they did it in IndyCar.
All right, let's get back to a battle here, and I could dig into. Oh, and here's a battle. Nunez is back.
That Bumblebee's looking for honey. Julian's so sweet, he knows he's got some in the car. Right now, you can really see the difference in their lines where they carry momentum, where Nunez has babied his tires on the bottom. Just look at center here. Even though Julian's taking a wider, slower line, Nunez can get to the bottom and carry so much more speed right along that bottom because his tires are in so much better shape.
Got Dixon.
This run is almost over, right? So Julian doesn't really care. Julian's like, I've got to survive 15 more laps, and then I'm pitting, so...
Scott Dixon drove a blue Energizer-sponsored IndyCar, kind of in that DW or the Aero 5, Aero 9 in era, and he also drove a Energizer-sponsored DW12 in the DW12 era from 12 to 17. So at least two. Yeah, so there's some precedents out there, Murph. Do it.
I'm also I know he works with Black Magic Designs, so shout out to his detailer out there in the world, but if you ever need something, Mark, and you want to see how it looks before you pay your buddy to make it look great, I can whip it up for you. Anytime.
And Nunez underneath.
Going by. Yep.
Here we go. And there's lap traffic in front of all these guys. So actually Nunez getting the cleanest air of everybody. Julian getting the dirty air, and that allows Nunez to slide on up.
He took advantage of Julian there. Julian lifted to let him up. Otherwise, Julian would be out of wing, and Nunez would be out of right rear suspension.
And now Julian getting around Santos.
Again, I believe that is a product of the blue flag rule of this league. Julian likes to run that high line in traffic, and they're trying to get out of the way because they don't think people want to run the high line. Julian commits up there after the lappers have, when they're just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, you're right. This is one of those racetracks that really, the line you race is whatever you race in the best line. So if you race the high line, you want to stay in the high line, and you don't want the slow traffic up there, but the slow traffic thinks that the high line is where they should be. I think they should, and I don't know if the league rules will allow it, but I know in the past in certain leagues, the leader would say to a car around them, hey man, stay low, I'll go high. And this is in advance of that car getting there. I don't know if they're not allowed to do that here or not, but
Luis were both battling, right? Who gets precedent there? If they both feel like they have claim to a certain part of the track, it's just not fair to somebody eventually, right? Why does second get to be?
Yeah, I would just say, I think a lot of these drivers are just really doing their best, and that's sometimes all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, I don't think anything here has been done maliciously.
No.
Right? So, Forsyth now.
Yeah, I just saw that blue car creeping into the picture. Yep.
Craig did such a good job saving tires on the front half of the run. He can run lane 3 here with impunity, knowing that,
Villeneuve pit road.
15 laps maybe.
So Villeneuve looking for his second stop of the day. He went 63 his first time, 64 this time.
And that's that snowballing effect I'm talking about, Gary, is that Murphy went 78, right, on his first stint.
Yeah.
That's 15 laps more. The undercut is going to burn you every time if you get a yellow immediately before the leaders have stopped. But if it's 15 or 20 laps after the leaders have stopped, you're going to come out smelling like roses.
Watching Wagner get around lap traffic is in 5th. Again, that Scott Pruitt, Pat Patrick throwback livery. Love it. That was battling for the lead at the Indy 500 in 94 when he smacked the turn 2 exit wall and spun to the inside and ended his day early. It would have been 95. I think it was 95. It was the race that Jacques Villeneuve won because he was chasing down, Pruitt was chasing down Scott Goodyear, who was the current leader at the time, yeah. And then he took that car later that season to Michigan, and one of the most thrilling Michigan 500s that you will see at the beginning of the IndyCar pack racing era. That was an awesome race, and it came down to a last lap battle between Scott Pruitt and Al Unser Jr. Al Unser Jr. recovering from not making that Indy 500, or actually he did make that Indy 500. He didn't make it in 95, so he was recovering from making that, and it was looking good in another 500-mile race. And he ran down Scott Pruitt, passed him at the start-finish line for the white flag lap. Pruitt got it back and got the pass completed in turns 3 and 4 and ended up winning that race. But that was kind of the first race that I really remember that kind of ushered in the era of IndyCar pack racing at the big super speedways. Because every race after that really was kind of the same thing. A lot of close racing packs, a lot of drafting, that sort of thing.
Well, we've got something very similar going on right now. Luis Nunez is eating out of Murphy's lead.
Oh, yeah, he is.
A lap here.
And then Julian and Craig is pretty tight as well.
Julian's running the same line Craig is now. I don't know if that's just because they're getting around Christensen. No, they're both committed here to lane 3. Julian about half a car width lower than Craig.
But that Michigan 500 is on YouTube. You should check it out.
Murphy is committed to the high side here at the end of this run.
He is not exiting turn 2 very well. He, or at least turn 4 very well. He got real close to the wall that time. It's like he made a bit of an odd line off the corner. Meanwhile, you're right, Nunez just eating him alive. Nunez last time by 18.4, Murphy at 18.5, so he's getting a tenth a lap. We're 7 tenths behind now 6 tenths behind as they both go to the bottom through 1 and 2. Oh, Nunez with the bad exit off of 2 that time.
That was all dirty air. All dirty air. Murphy's really got to wrap that bottom. He's got to keep Nunez squarely in his mirror. He has to go exactly where Nunez goes.
8 laps short of halfway.
And that's about when you'll see these people start to pit. I mean, you might see them go a little longer again to try to grab another yellow, but halfway is optimal for race time, but it's not necessarily optimal for race strategy. Wags now on the rear attenuator of Forsyth here for the 4th place position.
A mid-90s kart battle livery here. Love it.
Wags taking the Nunez approach, not coming off the bottom. Forsyth on the Murphy strategy where he's ripping the top. Yeah, I think Mark found his rhythm again. That lead is stabilized at about 6 tenths, 7 tenths.
Look at this group of cars around Christensen. To Sarah. Who else we got there? We got Seegers, Lovern.
Lovern's run the good out of his Firestones. He hasn't missed since lap 75.
They are not very happy. Wagner looking underneath Craig. Now side by side down the backstretch. Still has a wheel there. Who's going to make it rotate better in the middle of the corner and get a better run off it? It looks like Craig right now. He's the high line, momentum. Tucks back in. Wags resets, goes down low in the 1 and 2, hits the bump of the tunnel. Now pulls alongside down the backstretch. Still has a wheel there.
You cannot make this pass in one corner if you're Wagner. You've got to do it inch by inch. Every single corner, you've got to get a little bit further up alongside Forsyth's side pod.
Forsyth not necessarily going to give him the high side easily. This time, Wag says, I'll go high. I'll get a good run off the corner.
Yeah, look at how much more speed he has down this front straightaway. And he might use that to go to the bottom. No, he falls right in Forsyth's tire tracks. That's not the move, Wags. Go anywhere else.
Big run off the corner.
Clean air.
That's a big run off the corner. He's going to take a peek to the inside.
Boosted up a little too early.
Whoa.
Forsyth played pinchy. You don't get the wall. And that makes it really hard to exit with the speed that Wagner was trying to carry to the center of the corner.
These two have raced each other numerous times. Look at the debris on the bottom. So much clag.
Still not clear, Wags, but this is what you do, inch by inch. Next lap, you'll be another, 3 inches up on Forsyth, and eventually you'll get to clear him. You cannot overdrive the corner like that. All that progress gone for Matt Wagner. Nunez now right on the attenuator, on the spoiler of Murphy. Hugo Gallas putting dirty air on Murphy. Not intentional, just a lapper ahead on fresher tires.
Pit road, Luis Nunez. Careful, look at all that clag down there. Look at that. This new debris,
that makes it really slippery.
That debris patch that they just recently came out with for iRacing, it's no joke.
So let's see if Murphy covers Nunez immediately. No, he stays on the track again, going long.
Matty Sinclair
Nunez
says
will
it's
have the
debris
lead now
everywhere.
After
Yep,
the pit cycle.
he will.
Forsyth and Altena are in. Wagner is in. All of them are on the apron right now.
That famous French driver on the racetrack, Debris.
And his cousin, Rubert.
Rubert Debris.
There's Murphy putting Nunez his second lap down, and now Murphy is coming.
Now Murph's going to go. Yeah, he's going to pit sooner rather than later. He's 79 laps. He went 77 last time. He's coming to 79 to 80 this time.
Later than I would have pit. As soon as Nunez pit, I would have covered him immediately. Nunez is going to have a commanding lead here once Murphy gets back out on this track, so long as he executed his pit stop correctly, and it looked like he did.
And Nunez has Molina in front of him. Molina is 7 laps into his stint, so they both should have pretty fresh tires and won't be running into each other unless something's wrong with Molina's car and that he's slow on pace. They both should have pace with fresh tires. Here comes Nunez for the lead. Murph is still sitting there on pit road. And Nunez, you called it, man. Easy peasy, like a Sunday afternoon. Nunez, your new leader.
Maybe a field of dreams for some, but Murph is no longer alive for a Grand Slam. He'll
Well, yeah, he had every lap covered up to that point. Yeah, you're right. But now the best he can do is a triple. Get the win, get the pole, get the fast lap. We still got a long way to go here. We still got another time where somebody else can get that fast lap.
Yeah, we're only halfway.
Just past it.
Just past it.
Next weekend is a VOR IndyCar doubleheader. Legacy, Kentucky on Friday at 4 p.m. and then Montreal for the IndyCar Championship. These cars, these drivers, next Saturday, 3 p.m., Montreal.
So do you know who the undercut worked out for there, Gary? It was Liam O'Sullivan. He was about 10, almost 11 seconds behind the leaders when that cycle started. Now he's just at 9. He made up almost 2.5 seconds, 3 whole seconds.
Nice.
4 laps earlier.
Not bad. We'll keep an eye on him. We got the camera on him now. He is now up to 6th. So
remember,
he got around.
He fought through every single car on the racetrack to get where he is right now. Only the 5 cars in front of him are the only 5 cars he has not passed today.
If there is an award for passing the most, which there isn't, that would be a hard. There might. I don't know if you can even count that stat. If iRacing counts that stat, they can be covered on an overlay or something. But he would get the award. He has by far passed the most vehicles on the racetrack today.
Yeah, it's like I did that in the Kentucky race for Warriors for Peace in the Elite Racing Series last week. I started very back, and I think I finished 5th, but I passed literally everyone on the track except for the guy who won the race. So.
And that guy that won the race got a very lucky yellow. But sometimes, you know what? I'd rather be lucky than good most of the time, so I'll take it. Maybe he does too. I'm sure he takes it.
Yeah, I like to be lucky and good, so, you know. I'm both a beggar and a chooser.
You like your cake and you like to eat it too. Yeah.
You should see my tummy.
I bet
Nunez is going to have a boatload of lappers here. And
we're going up on Nunez.
Chops, hoping he can cut the difference.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I bet your wife cooks a mean cake, bakes a mean cake, doesn't she?
She does indeed. I think the last summer we lived in Illinois, she made a cake for everyone in my family, and my family all have birthdays May and June. Literally everyone but me is birthdays May and June. We had a cake every week. It was awesome.
Nunez stuck in the middle of a bee's nest of lap traffic at the moment. In front of him, Hugo Gilles. We got Ben Bittyworth and Tessera. And then when he gets by them, he gets another group in front of them. So it is well paced out here in terms of race cars everywhere on the track. Just not good for the leader because he's going to encounter them pretty much every single lap for the remainder of at least the near term. So he's going to get around Bittyworth, and then in front of Bittyworth by another second is Whitaker, and then another second.
There they go.
There it
Gilles
is.
just got into
Tessera.
But no caution. Tessera's really slow on the backstretch. Forsythe and Altena get by.
That was awful net code. Just awful net code. But I think Tessera, is that wheel going to snap back into place? It does. So he gets forgiven. But he's going to have some damage on that car he needs to come to pit road for.
He won't forget, that's for sure.
That's right.
Forgiven by iRacing, but he won't forget who pushed
The Sarah coming to pit road. He's going to need at least a new side pod.
I really question why Murphy has been so committed to the high side. Even with these lappers right in front, he's not only taking the worst line for tire wear, he's giving himself dirty air too, when I think they're all leaving the bottom open for him. Like Nunez is committing to the bottom. Here goes Murphy. He's finally seeing the light. I think maybe he was just afraid of eating Nunez's dirty air, but Nunez is almost a second and a half up the track. I mean, 1.1, but still.
Here is a shot from the VOR 1 airship. We are high above the speedway. There you see Murphy in second, Nunez just in front of him, right behind Bittyworth, trying to get around Bittyworth. Going to the bottom side. Look at all of the debris. It is awful on this racetrack.
Oh, I like my mashed potatoes with all that pepper on it.
But from a graphical point of view, it's pretty impressive. Wow, we missed it with Murph and Santos. Let's see if we can rewind that just a little bit. Santos staying high, up in the clag. Murph gets close. I don't know if that was net code or he just spooked Santos. It could have been one or either or. I don't know.
I think it was one little touch of net code, and Santos did a great job of not making it worse. Basically, when you get that net code and your car starts to turn to the left, you want to correct immediately, and it snaps into the wall. Santos just let the car sit, let the downforce correct it, point him straight, and picked up the throttle. That was a really, really good save. Murphy is starting to eat into Nunez. It's down to a second now. Forsythe right on the rear attenuator of Altena. Forsythe ripping the top as high as he can without getting in the marbles. Forsythe to the inside, dials up the yellow line. Make it stick, Craig. Come on, buddy.
Whoa, slides up.
Well, that's respect, is what that is. He lifted to give Julian all the room that Julian needed on exit.
Trying it again. Down to the bottom. Forsythe not as low as he wanted that time. And a bad exit as a result.
I think Craig and Julian both prefer the top, so If Craig's going to try to get around Julian, he's got to bait Julian into blocking the bottom and take the top from him.
Creeping into the picture very slowly is Wagner in 5th. There he is. And just at the top of the picture, there is Liam O'Sullivan in 6th.
Deficit to the leader, now only 6.5 seconds, Gary. He has almost cut it in half from where it started at the beginning of this pit cycle. Liam is on a mission. If this race goes green, don't count him out.
Is it like the Blues Brothers mission? We're on a mission from God?
I think they've got a full tank of gas and
sunglasses, and it's dark out.
Nunez really caught up here behind, I believe that is Braden Whitaker.
Yeah, it is.
Our biggest mover.
Whitaker's still up 10. He's in 9th. He's in the bottom portion of the top 10. There's only one of 2 cars on 1 lap down right now. And if Nunez can get around him, and he does, then there's now only 1 car left on the lap down.
Oh, Bennyworth in the wall. So once Murph gets around Braden, he'll be in direct contact with Nunez. 1 second in arrears. Altena, 3.5 seconds back from Nunez, so 2.5 off of Murphy. Then Wagner has just gotten around Forsyth.
Yeah, I told you he was creeping into the picture, and I don't know if Forsyth used up his tires in that battle with Altena, and then you got Wags back there just taking things easy and gets around him. Julian gets around Santos again. Santos this time dives out of the way. If you're missing that the reference, Santos did not have the greatest race at Milwaukee a couple weeks ago. It happens. We've all been there, Clindy. You just kind of had one yourself not too long ago at New Hampshire. At a very similar racetrack. I've had bad races at racetracks before. And he made a spin off of turn 4 at Milwaukee and innocently collected Julian. And ended yet another races to Julian very early. And Julian was, let's say, not pleased. Those two are trying to give each other a lot of space on the racetrack.
I would love to say that I don't remember that race from New Hampshire, but I have to have those core memories so I don't repeat those mistakes in the future. O'Sullivan is rapidly closing on Forsyth. I think Forsyth did a lot of damage to his tires.
And it's too early for Forsyth to pit, although Murphy blinking out.
Oh, they're all in the wall.
Oh!
Forsyth went in the wall. O'Sullivan gets by. O'Sullivan got forgiven, but I think Forsyth might have permanent right side damage. Let me take a look. No, Forsyth is also forgiven.
Let's watch this.
It's entirely possible when you see those contacts that they're net code to begin with.
Oh, and the car on the inside of him, which was Molina. Is that Molina? Yeah, he had to take some evasive action to get out of the way there.
Actually, Forsyth's damage has reappeared for me. I believe he does have side pod damage on the right side that is unfixable. So Forsyth is going to lose a lot of pace here for the remainder of the afternoon.
Get a close-up of that car, and it's going to be on the opposite side. We don't see it on ours, but we don't doubt that they're with a lick like that, that might have left some damage. Here comes Salvazzi. .194 of 300. Nunez still your leader. He has picked up the lead since we had our last round of pit stops. He overcut to Mark Murphy. Is undercut, excuse me. But got the position. What am I trying to say? That's what I'm trying to say. He made the undercut, but he got the position. Yeah, that's right. Over Murphy in the last round of pit stops. Altena third. Wags now moves up to fourth. O'Sullivan around the Forsyth, who we think might be possibly damaged, is now in fifth. Forsyth sixth. And if Tim Bree, he's a little ways off of Forsyth, can catch him. Tim Bree's last car on the lead lap. He might be able to put Forsyth down another position. But not too far behind Bree is the leader.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. Wagner is eating into Julian's hold on third place. Again, he's been very disciplined in running the bottom, Wagner has been. Julian's been in that second or third lane just about this whole run. So, and the cars in front of Julian are also running the high side, so I'd expect by the time Julian catches these lappers of Gilles and Bennyworth, and it looks like Lovern as well.
Lovern's going to stay out of the way.
Two of those,
yeah, Lovern's going to stay. Yeah, both of those cars will stay out of his way. He's to Lovern. Lovern giving him all the space in the world.
Not only that, Lovern is running the bottom where Wagner wants to be, and from that far ahead, that air does affect Wagner's car.
Yeah, that is impactful air.
And we're about 20 laps away from the final set of stops that will send all these drivers to the finish. Do you think Murphy's going to undercut a lot to get around Nunez, or do you think he's going to try that overcut and catch a caution again?
I think if he learned anything for that last set, I think he might want to come earlier than later. That last stop there. If he can make it to the end. I don't know if he has to hit a certain number in order to make it to the end.
Well, he's gone more than 75 on both of his runs, so I think he could definitely hit around 218, 220 and make it to the end, no problem. I think the issue is that Nunez proved on the previous run that he was better on the long run, right? So if you undercut and get ahead, you've got to play some serious defense because that guy's going to have better tires, and he was naturally better on the long run anyway. Murphy's starting to lose touch with him now. Nunez is driven away by about 0.6 of a second.
Nunez has one career win here in the VOR IndyCar Series, or the IndyCar Championship. Got a win last season at Detroit, so he's actually looking for his first oval win.
Belle Isle, not New Detroit. New Detroit's not yet.
Did I say New Detroit?
Sadly. No, you just said Detroit.
Okay.
So I just wanted to.
Right. Detroit in the sim, right? That is Belle Isle. I hope they never give us the New Detroit track. Awful.
You don't want to see 12-car pileups every time into Turn 1?
As much as I want to see him at the street course at Nashville.
Murphy is in trouble.
Watching him.
Oh, he's just complaining that Millward and he are running the same line every single corner.
Well, I mean, I guess Millward doesn't have to give up the position. Doesn't Murph have to get there?
Well, I think Murph was there. I think he was within like 0.3 of a second. And they just both committed the same line, a couple corners in a row, and Murphy, they said, "Hey man, come on, give me a break." And so I just heard, "Come on, man," and I thought it was worse than it was.
All right. Maybe that's a little bit of frustration showing from Murph after being so dominant in the first third of this race.
He changed his strategy. He deviated from the yellow line.
Well, we are in the last third of this race, so he can still time to get that back. There he is. Julian, Teixeira, Wagner, for position. Wagner underneath.
Wagner's tires should be much better than Altena's here, so he'll have the benefit of being able to go wherever he'd like.
Well, I think Wags is taking better care of him.
Oh, absolutely. Way better. Every time you go low in the corner, I think about saving like a nickel or a dime. Like every time you do it, after 10 laps, you've saved $1, right? And soon enough, you can buy yourself a candy bar. And by that, you can pass the car in front of you.
So the boss man is behind you guys. What do you do?
I think they should both run in the marbles or run on the yellow line. One or the other. Get all the way. Yep, there they go. Well, they didn't. They both took different strategies. You got to do the same thing, guys. Look at this run. Wagner really was patient there on the throttle. I thought he was going to pick it up, but he just let the car sit. It's really disciplined.
Hey, if you like what you see and would like to be part of future races of the VOR IndyCar Championship, click on the VOR Discord invite in the description to learn more today. We'll watch this battle. It straightens out here. I think we got time to pay some bills. Today's Iowa 300 race is brought to you by IFS Personal Financial Planning. IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in helping their clients make the most out of their savings as we're side by side going into one. Off the corner, still side by side. We'll give IFS a little bit of a break here as we watch this battle for the bottom step of the podium between Julian Altena and Matty Wags.
Alice has moved to the bottom here to get out of Julian's way and start to try to impede Wags, but now he's in the middle in the way of them both. Think of this battle being brought to you by Alex at
IFS Personal Financial Planning. But they help their clients get the most out of their savings with holistic financial planning that's tailored to their specific needs over the course of their lifetime. On average, they've been working with their clients for over 20 years, helping them navigate the complexities of investments, the uncertainties of markets, and the ever-changing legislative landscape. Easy for me to say. To learn more, contact Alexander Bonney at alex@ifspfp.com. Again, that's alex@ifspfp.com. He's a sponsor of today's race and the VOR Iconic Series. And you can catch it on Fridays. Okay, so we reset this battle. It is still Wags trying to run down Altena. Altena's used up all his teammates in front of him, so he can't rely on them for any more help, at least for the time being. The next battle in front of Julian is Braden Whitaker, who is 4 and about a half seconds in front.
Yeah, they have a long stretch of clean racetrack here for Wags to capitalize on these better tires.
I think Wags is going to do it. Here's a look to the inside, and I think Julian let him go.
Dusted.
I think Julian let him go. Bad. I'm not sure about that. I'm just the way it was so easy. Julian tucks back in behind Wags.
I think Wagner was complaining about how Gilles impeded him and not Julian, and Julian saw that. Right?
Little bit of reciprocation there.
Yeah, hey man, sorry about that. Go on by. I think Julian really just wants to finish. I think he'll be very pleased to be fourth.
Yeah, I think a finish. Oh gosh, I don't really want to jinx anything, but a finish is pretty critical for Julian, in the not just in the points championship, but just in the mentally.
Forsyth is driving the guts out of his car to try to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Nunez has been to the inside for the last lap.
I think that's a damaged car we're looking at, just the way that he's fallen back.
Absolutely is.
And Breeze there. Breeze ran him down. There's Breeze just behind him. There it is.
Hey, I mean, you got a damaged slow race car and you're going to bring it home 6th or 7th. That's not a bad day's work.
All right, so once again, here are the points really quick coming into today's race. And we got currently Julian ahead of Liam. Julian ahead of Savazzi. Orman not in the lineup. The only person Julian not ahead of is Nunez, who's in 5th. So this is going to be interesting to see how the points shake out after this race.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to see Nunez jump up a couple spots.
Yep. On pit road, Liam O'Sullivan. Final stop.
Undercutting again. But this is right on the number. This is 75 to the finish. This is exactly where I would be pitting.
Careful bringing it up to speed on all the clag. So Ozzy, he makes the duck down pit road. Final stop. It is like a dirt race on the bottom. If you go offline, It's like a dirt race.
Yeah, you got the slick track, you got the cushion, you got the berm. Except this is an asphalt track. Not the same length. They're mile-long dirt tracks. Yeah, DuQuoin, Springfield.
That's an old IndyCar track. They used to race there back in the old USAC days at DuQuoin.
On the dirt?
Yeah. Part of the early USAC days, yeah. They used to be dirt and pavement on the IndyCar schedule back. Wags out to the yellow line coming to pit road, and he keeps it off. A good run in the pit road for him. We're going to see if this calculates into gaining any spots or any time on the racetrack. He's coming in final stop for the Firestone throwback of Scott Pruitt.
Now, the car I'll be really interested to see if it's made a lot of headway is O'Sullivan. If O'Sullivan comes out anywhere near Wagner, that undercut is a success for him. Murphy on pit road. I'd assume to see Nunez this lap as well. Cover off Murphy, even though he had a 6-second lead.
So at one point back in the 60s for the USAC Champ Car Championship, Clindy, there were 3 races in Indianapolis. You had the 500, then they would go out to IRP and run the road course at IRP, and then they would go to the Indiana State Fairgrounds and they would run the dirt track there as part of the schedule. So the Indy had 3 races every year with the USAC Champ Cars. Just kind of the different circuits they ran at the time before they settled on all pavement and eventually more road courses and less ovals. Hopefully they'll change that in the future again. Okay. So O'Sullivan
Wagner
is ahead of Wagner.
Yep. No, he's right behind him. Pennyworth is between them.
No, Wagner, I'm showing Wagner in front of O'Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Julian on pit road.
Just a couple seconds.
Now Julian off of pit road. I think Julian lost positions to Wags and O'Sullivan. But Julian's the last car on the lead lap right now in 5th spot.
I wonder if he had an issue. Let me go back and check that out. Clean on. In his box. Clean out. Just that delayed, that overcut cost him that much time.
Yeah, he was in the on-pit lane 36.2. Nunez just came off of pit road for his final stop. Nunez was on the pit road for 36.4, so there was only 0.2 of a second there difference. And then in the box, Nunez was 9 seconds in the box, while Murphy was 9.3. So there's a half second that Murphy lost on pit road to Nunez and all that.
Pit road was the worst, the least of Murphy's concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, he had lost 5 seconds before that.
It had to be the in-out or the in-lap or the out-lap.
Well, I'm more worried about Altena, right? Altena was running 3rd or 4th, and he's now 13 seconds back from Nunez, and O'Sullivan went by him, and Wagner went by him shortly before the stop. Basically, he was right where Wagner was, 9 seconds behind the leader. Now he's 13, almost 14 seconds back.
Whoa, Salvazzi up in the wall. Same thing with Millward as they're trying to stay out of the way of Julian. Millward not up in the wall, but he was staying out of the way. But definitely Salvazzi up in the wall. Still your biggest gainer of the day is Whitaker, up 10 spots, but down 2 laps. Only 2 cars 1 lap down right now with Forsyth and Bree. 5 cars on the lead lap. It's Nunez, Murph, Wags, O'Sullivan, and Altena. Let's change the tree here so you can get a better idea of everybody who's on the lead lap. There you go. But Julian almost a full lap down. He's like 3/4 of a lap down right now.
Yep. Let me see if he picked up damage. Maybe that's what's been impeding him. Maybe we missed it.
18.2 versus O'Sullivan's 18.4 in front of him. Julian's faster than all the leaders.
Clean. Yeah. Maybe just some bad timing on lappers and a little bit of overcut, you know, put him in that deficit. Maybe he's playing defense for Liam.
This is Luis Nunez, lucky 7th start in this series. He has 1 win at Detroit, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Remember, he was leading at Watkins Glen in our Watkins Glen round when he dropped. He was commanding that race at the time. So
We got those faster engines, they explode on you sometimes, Gary.
So he could have possibly, shoulda, woulda, coulda, if we go back. We can't necessarily give him the win, but it was looking pretty good at that time. But now we're coming up to 50 to go here very shortly, and he's looking at win number 2.
I think Matt Wagner's got his eyes dialed for 2nd place. Murphy's still ripping the top, and Wagner's been very consistent, very solid on the bottom. There's only 1 lap difference in their tires. I think Wagner will have the pace if he continues to commit to the bottom. By the end of this run, he'll be knocking on that door for that silver medal.
Murph is a former series champion here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. This is his 52nd career start in VOR. 5 wins, 29 top 5s, 39 top 10s.
10% win rate. That's pretty good for an old guy who says he's slow all the time.
Old and slow.
Altena's reeled back in O'Sullivan, so we can have a battle here for 4th.
Whoa! Seeger, excuse me.
Just call him Yakko.
Yakko. And now here's a battle
Here
for
comes
position
Altena.
inside Altena, and he is not going to give. If there's 2 teammates out there that are going to race each other the hardest and not give any, whatsoever against each other, it's those 2 guys. They both like to one-up each other.
No quarter. No quarter. Bree is now got his target set on Forsyth.
He's going to get this pass done in the next couple laps, and right behind him is Murph.
And that just shows you how big the gap is between Murphy and Nunez, right? Nunez lapped Forsyth before the pit cycle, and Murph has just now got to him. Murph is almost half a lap down, if not more, to Luis Nunez.
I got to remember that Yakko's last name is actually more like Bob Seeger, like old-time rock and roll Bob Seeger. Yeah, I should probably remember that. Side by side, this is battle 4, actually 6th, and Bree is going to get that. And again, that's adding further fuel to the fire that we think there might be. Although I'm not going to take it away from Bree, right? We've seen Bree in a number of races have the racecraft to get up front. You just don't move by Craig Forsyth that easily. And he kind of got to him.
Craig is definitely damaged.
Got down to him and,
I
got underneath him and passed him. So, yeah, I'm wondering how damaged Craig is.
His side pod's all ripped up. If you press the damage report, his spot would be saying, "You have damage on the right side. We can't fix the damage."
You have access to some other screens that I can't do that on the, on the
I
stream.
could send you a screenshot of it if you want to have a bird's eye.
No, we will take your expert analysis as Bible, sir.
The gospel truth.
Nunez in the middle of heavy traffic. 8-second lead over Murph. But everybody who's not on the lead lap seemingly is in front of Luis Nunez right now.
And Millward and Christensen are fighting for position, right? So they don't really want to pull over for Nunez because, well, Christensen does. To what Millward does here. Same thing, just goes to the top. Lets the leader by. Now, I think that's the rule working as intended, right? When the leader is committed to one line over and over again. But it's just so difficult when the leaders or lead lap cars like to run the top, you know? Cat goes next. Altena is almost caught back up to Wagner. There's going to be a battle brewing here in just a couple of laps.
Wags is in definitely dirty air. Once again, if you're just watching Velocity Online's coverage of round 4 of 10 of the VOR IndyCar Championship coming to you from Iowa Speedway for the Iowa 300 presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning, currently where Luis Nunez is our leader with now about 40 to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race, which is next weekend, the VOR Iconic Series, 4 p.m. Eastern from Legacy, Kentucky. And the next Saturday, the IndyCar Championship continues at Montreal on the road course, our second road course of the season, at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. That is all next weekend here on the VOR channel. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out when we do go live next weekend. Wags getting really close to Whitaker, trying to get just that amount of momentum to make that pass easier. And there he goes around Whitaker. Whitaker's still your biggest gainer today. He's kind of locked in the 9th at the moment. Maybe if there's a little bit more attrition at the front, he can move up another spot or two. But still a good day. Anytime that you can get up into the top 10 in a VOR IndyCar race, you know you pass several really good drivers along the way.
I mean, he's got Strouth and Forsyth right in front of him, right? So if he can follow Wagner through those two, he'll be up to 7th.
O'Sullivan running down Julian for 5th. That battle continues to be close. I don't know if it's going to get any closer, though. We did see Julian a handful of laps ago get around O'Sullivan. Now O'Sullivan reeling him back in a little bit because of the traffic that Julian's in.
Strauss's.
Old age and treachery will always beat youth and exuberance. Well, as someone that's old, I agree to that.
Someone who's kind of in the middle. I'm not sure which way I fall. Treachery beats a lot of things. Just straight up. You can't really count for having a traitor of business.
No, I do agree that experience matters, especially with these cars. And I've said it all the time with these cars, that iron sharpens iron here. The more that you put into these cars, the more you're going to get better at them, the more you're going to get out of them. And it shows when you go to like watching IndyCar Open or IndyCar Oval races on the official series there, that when we go to tracks that the NASCAR guys that drive the full body cars all the time, they come over and they jump in these things. They, oh yeah, they got all the downforce in the world. They don't know how to use the tools. They don't know how to use the weight jacker. They don't know how to use the engine map. And we've seen a number of examples where the exuberance and the inexperience of those drivers storm right to the front and races. And then by the time the race is over, it's your normal IndyCar community drivers that put in the lap time, put in the time, put in the work with these cars, that always get to the win and they get the good positions at the end of the race. So the more you put into these cars, if you're interested in driving one, expect to put in lots of practice. Don't expect to jump in and be very good right away. The more you put in, the more you get out.
Perfect example at the Pro Qualifier race last season at Indianapolis. I ran side by side for 80% of that race with Bobby Zelensky, who's on a paid pro setup and is a NASCAR Coke Series driver. I think he beat me by 2 positions because he was on better tire strategy at the end of the race, but I went toe-to-toe with one of the best oval drivers on the circuit, so it's a pretty cool day for me.
watching Wags as he has himself a little bit of a cushion of 2 cars between himself and Julian. That is a battle for position. Julian, the blue car, 3 cars back from Wags, and the red and blue, red, white, and blue car there. The only thing that's going to shake this up, and 24 to go, I mean, right now we don't have any direct battles with the leaders. All the leaders are kind of separated a little bit. Although we do have the leader coming up. Yeah, Nunez is going to catch really Craig O'Sullivan, who's also in that group there. Silvazzi.
I think Silvazzi's on fresher tires than those two, so he may be able to yard Nunez here.
So if there's any, if we don't finish under caution, this is really how it's going to finish. But if we go under caution late in this race, this is going to be interesting.
O'Sullivan here can fight Nunez as hard as he wants, so we'll see how much dirty air, how much pinching goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I just about saw Forsyth kind of go up and give that post-Valentine's Day kiss to the wall.
I mean, Nunez does not need to press the issue here with O'Sullivan. Murphy will not catch him before the end of the race. He can give up almost half a second a lap to Murphy and not be in any trouble whatsoever.
Oh, here's a battle on the racetrack just ahead of this group. Whitaker and not Silvazzi. Strauss. He got around Silvazzi, actually. So Whitaker up now up another spot. Whitaker into the top 8, up 11 spots. Oh, not yet done. Not yet done. Pennyworth. There's that purple lap late in the race that we are expecting people to throw up there. 178.8. A far cry from the real world track record, but keep in mind that was set on a partially newly paved racetrack as well. $17 to go.
I think Whitaker can't make up his mind. He enters high and then commits low later. I think if he ran a longer, more delayed apex, much like this corner here, good job, Braden. All right, pick up the throttle. You're going to draw side by side, and then do not overdrive turn 1.
Oop. Going to click my mouse there.
No cars between Altena and Wagner, but Wagner has about a second.
Real quick, here is the, before we get to the end of the race here, the VOR Iconic Series schedule. We were here just last weekend. We go to Legacy, Kentucky next. Then we do our month of May and March again with a half-distance 500-miler at Indianapolis in round 6. Then we go to Kansas, proper Phoenix, Auto Club, Homestead, and Chicagoland. That is your VOR Iconic Series. If you want to be part of the VOR Iconic Series, that is a free series. Sign up to the Discord server. Look at this mess in front of this battle right here. Oof. And I think Whitaker gets that spot.
Hit the wall, cooking it. Whitaker is going to, I think, pace him now. I think Whitaker was a little better, but couldn't complete the pass.
Pennyworth's going to set a 3 wide down in the 1.
Yeah, he's got that purple lap. He's going to make people eat his dust. That's what you do when you go fast.
And Nunez around O'Sullivan to put him a lap down, coming to 10 to go.
We're going to have 4 cars on the lead lap to end this thing. Great job going green today, guys. I think we had 2 yellows. Or just the 1. Just the 1.
Yeah, this has been a... let's call it a marathon sprint, if that makes sense. I mean, it has been go, go, go. There's not been much rest. So these guys are going to be really tired at the end of this one.
Yeah, who says you can't do a 300-lap race in under 2 hours? Oh, Strauss got back around Whitaker. Looks like he got hip checked by Bennyworth on corner entry.
And now Whitaker has the leader behind him, so he's going to just have to yield to Nunez. Nunez sends it to the inside. Not much choice there for Whitaker. Whitaker is going to probably get a top 10 finish out of this. He is up 10 spots to 9th. He's been right around 9th since the mid-race point. Actually moved up 1 spot when he was racing with Strauss to 8th, but Strauss gets back by. 7 to go for our leader, Nunez. Murphy riding all alone in 2nd. He might have resolved the fact that that's where he's going to finish today. Wags in 3rd. I think Wags, and if he doesn't, we don't have a late caution, doesn't smack the wall, doesn't get caught up in somebody else's mess, I think Wags is going to come home 3rd. Let's not jinx Julian yet. 5 laps to go in 4th. This will be a very good feeling finish, I would say, for him. Bennyworth whipping it around the high side there with those new tires. And he with 17-lap-old tires, and he is so much faster than everyone around him right now.
Yeah, Molina right there is for position for Bennyworth, so.
Coming to 3 to go, Luis Nunez looking win number 2 square in the face here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. Going to gain some points positions. We'll check about that during post-race. But he's going to be looking at win number 2 in the VOR career here. Coming to 2 to go.
What a drive from Lewis. Not a single wheel put wrong today. A little bit of strategy to ground Murphy after the second stop. He takes the white flag uncontested.
Into 1 and 2. 3 cars in front of him. He doesn't have to push the issue. All 3 of them in front of him are pushing the issue news. They go 3 right in the corner. You don't want to see that on the white flag lap, especially when you're staring at the checker flag. But getting the checker flag is Luis Nunez for his 2nd career win here in the VOR IndyCar Championship and his first win on an oval. He's got one up on Alex Palou.
I'm worn out, and I just called the race, Gilles. I can feel my arms being little noodles if I had to do what these drivers just did for the last hour.
I tell you what, you know, my rear hurts from sitting, but, you know, that race really was done fairly quickly, but I've been doing a lot of sitting today because I had about an hour before setup time. So I'm ready to stand up and get some interviews in here.
Tell me you weren't on the edge of your seat that whole time, Gary. That's not why you're rear.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
Heck yeah. That's what we love to see.
And there you see Nunez with the win over 8 seconds over Mark Murphy. Wagner in 3rd. Julian Altena. I would say he should be happy considering all the bad luck he's been having. Coming home 4th there. Liam O'Sullivan is in 5th. Bree 6th. Forsyth 7th, Strauss 8th, Whitaker, the biggest gainer of the day, 9th, and Salvazzi in 10th. You got Gilles, Molina, Bennyworth, Christensen, and Millward, your top 15. Seeger, Lovern, Santos, Teixeira, Inch, your top 20. And Soul Edge, Bonnie, and Coker, rounding out the remainder of our 23-car field.
Whitaker did lock in biggest mover by 10, just sniping Hugo Gallus, who moved up 9. Or Shane Coker, Windows 11, kept him on the sidelines all day today.
All right, there we go. For some reason, we had the wrong B-roll loaded. I know I loaded the correct stuff, so weird. All right, so let's get in here, get some replays loaded up. And we want to talk to, who do we want to talk to first?
I got Matty Wags, if you're ready.
Stand by. All right, so it's
Here he is.
Matty Wags with the mid-90s kart throwback. I love it, sir. We talked a lot about it during the race. A great finish for you. P3 today. A little bit of a marathon out there. How do you feel, first of all, and talk about your race?
Well, it was actually pretty hot and slick, which I kind of like it here on the short tracks. But the tire saving, really didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. So, so the first caution, it was kind of a really key saver. So it kind of made me, run fuel out map 1, all the way to the end. Just not really push the car, just ride the bottom, just to bottom of the track and just save tires. Pretty much the all the way to run. I was kind of afraid to run the top because I ran the top the first time around, and I felt kind of slow after the end of the run, and I said, well, this ain't right. I'm going to run the bottom, and I started getting faster, but then again, it's really hard to pass here, and I really appreciate Craig and Julian letting me go, and it was quite a hell of a race, man.
Go ahead, Clindy.
Yeah, I was rooting for every driver who was married to the yellow line all day. It was you and Nunez did it better than anyone else. There was a point in the race in that last stint where I thought maybe you would reel in Murph because he had kind of thrown the yellow line away and started finding a little more speed at the high side at the end of the run. But it looked like you got trapped behind Molina and some others right on the bottom for a while. How can you navigate lap traffic here? I know what the blue flag rules, and when everything's all on top of each other all the time, what type of an approach did you take today?
Well, I kind of just put my car, where I'm going to run. I know it's really hard to judge from the lap cars and where their standpoint is and where I am. It's really difficult to maneuver around the cars. It's hearsay that over and all, the cars did a great job of trying to, I guess you would say, avoid me. We try not to.
Well, you're the only one on the bottom, right? Almost everyone else was really happy up top. So
yeah, I know. But there were some points where I actually had to run the top because I had to show if I run up top, I'm going to run faster lap time. So in order for me to try and show the lap car that I'm in front of them, I have to run the top to catch them really quick. So that way I stay away from that dirty air because that dirty air is really bad. But as far as the tires goes, mixed with the dirty air, it wasn't that too bad here tonight. It was actually pretty good.
Well, I'm right for you to harvest. Oh, go ahead, Gary. Sorry.
No, I go right ahead and finish up your follow-up question. I was getting ready to say it's I would imagine though after finishing in third here, you're pretty happy. But go ahead, Clindy.
I was just gonna say you harvested a podium position, and the spotlight was all yours. If you had friends, family, or sponsors you wanted to shout out.
Oh, me? Oh God, thank you very much. Well, well, who do I thank? Should I bring it back in the past? I think I should. I thank my crew chief, Kevin Blanche, for the. I know. Did you get that
Rocket?
right? Did you get that? Yeah, Rocket Man. Yes. Yep. I hope you got that. For give me all the settings in the car, and it was such a fun set to drive. I like loose sets. It really makes you think It almost kind of makes you look like with the tools and all, almost like I hate to shame it, but almost like a stock car. You know what I mean? You got to save the tires to the long run and just keep running. But you can adjust the bars, not like a cup car can. But it was fine. Thank you there, crew chief. Love you. TWR. And I got to thank Mark Murphy 100%, man. Yeah, he's always been my boy, and I appreciate him very much.
You didn't have Poncho Carter spotting for you up there?
No, I fired him.
Whoa!
Sorry,
Come
Poncho.
on, man.
I do apologize.
Come on, man. You can't fire Poncho.
I know. I had the iRacing spider. He was just as good. So. Maybe Monday night I'll bring a throwback in here. I'll probably thank another crew chief. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, we will catch you at the next one, but congratulations on the P3 today. Next week, we're to the road course. We know lefties and righties for you are not the best, but it's Montreal, and I know a lot of people have a lot of track time there, so we'll see how well you do. But that's next week, but a good finish here today. Congratulations. We'll catch you at the next one.
I'm actually looking forward to that track. It's one of my favorite road courses, so I'm looking forward to that one. See you guys.
Yeah.
All right, and then we've got Murph as well, so let me know when you're ready. And
So the inside baseball references there, Kevin Blanche, he was actually, his nickname was Rocket, and he was best known as being an engineer on, he's actually, I think he works for IndyCar now. And you can see him, I believe, giving instructions to drivers before they go out for qualifying at Indianapolis. But I remember him best as being on the team and crew chief for Panther Racing for Sam Hornish. And that's why I asked about Poncho, because Poncho spotted for Sam Hornish back then. But anyways, that's the inside baseball reference in case you didn't know. So let's bring Mark Murphy up in here. And there he is.
There he is.
Mark, welcome to the show. It dominated the first third of this race, and the second third not as dominant that you had it in the first third. I don't know if you're happy with the second place or you're upset with the second place. I would say in the marathon race you'd probably be somewhat happy, but I just know you very well, and I don't know how happy you are with this finish. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. I mean, how do you feel after 300 laps at the bull ring here? It's probably like 15 rounds with Tyson almost.
Yeah, it's 15 rounds with somebody, that's for sure. I'm tired. No, I mean, I feel I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, anytime you run, if you're going to run second and you run second to a pro, there ain't no shame in that, Gary. And he's got the PW license next to his name for a reason, and the dude's fast. And I thought we had him covered there in the first half, and then the last like 15 laps of the second stint, the last 15 laps of the second stint, right around halfway, for whatever reason, I don't know if I got caught behind some lap cars and cooked the tires and didn't realize it, but he caught me out of nowhere, and I tried to fight him, and he got by, and then it was over. No matter what I did, I couldn't catch him. We were about even on pace in clean air, but he was vastly superior working traffic, or he caught him in the right way, or whatever it was. I had a couple of really close calls with lap cars and really hurt the tires in the third run. So, we came down. I tried to short pit him, and of course he covered it. And that's the way it goes. Had it come down to a sprint, we might have been able to do something. But you give a guy as good as Luis Nunez the lead, and you give him 6-7 second lead, and you give him all of his road racing knowledge to put into play, and just how naturally talented it is, you ain't gonna catch him. So seconds, we'll be satisfied with best of the rest, and happy to finish one. I didn't get clouded and I didn't get hit in the back going on the first lap, and I didn't get driven in the side of on the first lap. And maybe I ought to do that more. Maybe that's the secret. If you sat on a pole, you don't get wrecked on the first lap, right?
Just run away from everybody. Go ahead, Clindy.
Yeah, it's real hard to get hit when you got no company. We saw about halfway through the race, you abandoned or didn't abandon, maybe you just chose a different line. You would have been married to that yellow line whenever you had clean air, and then as soon as you started finding lappers, you navigated around the racetrack more. And I thought that perhaps that was to the detriment of your tires and your long run pace. But I think maybe lap over lap, you were a little bit faster in the moment, but just suffered on long run pace. Was there a conscious decision to taking the high line, or were you just hunting for clean air?
I was hunting clean air, hunting any sort of pace, hunting anything. It wasn't the line necessarily that hurts the tires, because I was lifting about the same place, and I wasn't carrying any more speed on the top, at least into the corner, and that's where you hurt it. What hurt it was there were a couple of instances where, there were cars multiple laps down, and I went to pass them high, and this, Clindy, you observe car in front of you, and he's running the bottom for 5 laps when you're catching him, and then you go to pull up high and he pulls up high right in front of you, and that really hurt. That really hurt the tires. I mean, it's not anybody's fault. It's Iowa. It's a bull ring. There's not any space anyway, but just a little bit of bad luck. But that's, once that happens, now you're starting to search for grip anywhere you can find it and cool the things off, and you can't cool them off, and they're screaming at you, and you can't turn the car, and it just, it's what it is. But again, I mean, it's Iowa. There's nothing you can be disappointed about. It's just luck.
Yeah, it just takes one set of corners to burn them off, but a well-earned silver medal today for you. And if you go back and watch the broadcast, you'll see that Gary and I were petitioning to have some silver on your race car in the future, perhaps. So that'll be a little treat for you to uncover in the future. But
it match my hair.
While you're on the silver screen, my man, do you have any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors you'd like to give a shout to while you have the mic?
Yeah, I mean, everybody at P1 Broadcasting, we had an absolutely banger of the last 2 days on P1. Gary, I don't know if you've looked at the numbers, but something like, with the AMA series, something like 3,000 people total watch those 2 races. So it's been, at one point we had more viewers on our stream than the official Daytona 500. So that was, I still shake my head at that. That was pretty incredible. So shout out to Sam Crow. He's been awful fun to work with, and of course everybody else at the network, Gary, Clindy, you guys having a ton of fun behind the mic. Everybody at Indy Alliance, everybody in the Alliance. I got to thank Matt Wagner. He and I were in a Discord today and having a good time, and it's always fun racing with Matt. Got to give a shout out to the third member of that partnership, the Watchman Mark Cohn. For whatever reason, he decided not to show up today, but we'd like to have the Watchman around. He's good fun, and always a pleasure. Everybody at Black Magic Studios, get you a paint worth 2/10, admin box, race control at the touch of a button. Did I forget anybody? Godsoe, I don't have my glasses on. You read the side of my car.
I think you got them all. Yeah, I think you got them all.
Honda for the power. Got to thank them. Power. Motor ran great. The guy between the seat and the steering wheel wasn't the best in the second half of this one, but we'll go on. We'll be all right.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad that you feel happy about that. I know. I mean, we're showing your stat line on the screen right now. You led 157 of 301 laps, and normally when you lead half the race like that, you kind of expect the win, and I could probably understand that you wouldn't be a little happy, or a little upset at not getting the win. Man. But sounds like you're actually pretty good about it. So I mean, that's good. I mean, this race is so tough. So if you can come out of it with your head held high and a good points day, and we'll check points here as soon as we're done with you. But I think it's a good day. But congratulations, man, and we will catch you back on the network on Monday. For the IndyCar Open Series. I'm not sure where we're going to be at. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we will catch you then.
Doing votive tomorrow, Gary?
I'm doing votive, but I don't know if he's doing votive.
Am I doing votive?
My bad. I just don't know what's going on.
Oh,
am I doing votive? Is that the question?
Oh, actually, I was trying to remember where Indy Open was on Monday, and that's next time we'll see Mark on the network. That is. And Mark will actually be in Iowa on Monday, so don't go anywhere, Mark. You're going to be here Monday.
I'll be here tomorrow too. The Indy Elite Series over on
okay.
We're gonna put this rocket ship in
Okay.
We're gonna put this rocket ship in another full field or another full pro level field, and that'll be a ton of fun. But yeah, I get 3 days of Iowa because then I get to come back here and call it with Clindy, so that'll be great. But yeah, man, it is what it is.
All right, we'll see you then. Congrats. Get some rest.
Yeah, keep going fast and having fun, boys.
We shall. All right. I do want to check points real quick before we bring up Lewis. Season 13. We do have points. Good. We do have points. And interesting enough, 4 races this season and 4 different winners. So a lot of parity right now. Standings. Luis Nunez has moved to the top. He is a leader by 1 over Julian. Liam O'Sullivan is 3rd. Patrick Silvazzi now 4th. And John Christensen, very quietly, very stealthily, moves up into the top 5. There we go. Let's bring up our winner, Luis Nunez. Luis Nunez, congratulations. Winner today here at Iowa. First oval win in the series. And really, once you got around, Mark, it was no turning back. You didn't lead. You led every lap after you took the lead. And no one was ever really able to come close. Talk about your race. A dominant last third for sure.
Oh yeah, it was. I would say it was unexpected because, yeah, I was checking out now with Julian, and I just did 330 laps. So and yeah, 300 laps were from the race. So I just had in reality 36 laps of practice. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this, but after the good qualifying, I thought, okay, let's try to save tires and get good with the fuel and attack by the end. And I would say even it came even earlier than I was expecting. So yeah, really good race overall.
Go on, Clindy.
Lewis, we saw you run the bottom better than anyone today, all through traffic while you hunted down Murph and while you cruised away with the victory. How many times do you think you ran the top today? Less than 10?
I would say just a lap because I had to pass a lap car. But the other 299 laps were the bottom, that's for sure.
Wow,
So
299 laps on the bottom. That's the secret. I'm telling you, Gary, you get that yellow car, it's magnetically attached to that yellow line on the bottom.
Yeah.
But, the yellow car and the yellow line brought you the gold medal. Who do you
Nice.
want to shout out today, Lewis? You got friends, family, or sponsors?
yeah, I would say thank you to my team for believing in me, and well, that's all. Because yeah, honestly, I didn't prepare this race, so I just want to thank my team. And yeah, because right now I have to jump into the major series in which we're running prototypes in Silverstone. So yeah, now I'll just get ready for it and keep with the race.
Well, we'll let you get off to go practice here. 2 leaders today. It was only you and Mark that were the leaders today out of the 300 laps that we turned here. And the good news is, I don't know if you've checked the points, but now after 4 rounds, you are the points leader by 1 point over Julian.
Yeah, that's what Julian told me. I still a bit pissed for what happened in Watkins. Because yeah, I had that win on my hand, but it happens sometimes, and yeah, we still have 2 road courses remaining this season.
Yeah, and another road course coming up for you. So it's like from strength to strength now for you.
Oh yeah, because normally I'm way stronger in road courses than ovals, but yeah, hopefully now it's ovals are good for me as well.
Yeah, I think it just takes 1 win on an oval to kind of get that ball rolling, and you definitely did it today. Congratulations on the win, 2nd career win here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. Now our points leader after 4 rounds and heading to a road course that you'll probably do well at Montreal. Congratulations, and we will see you in a week, sir. Big win.
Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.
Oh, I think I cut him off a little bit. Didn't mean to do it. But a big win for him. Vaults him into the points lead, Clindy, by 1 over Julian, who is, I could tell from his mention in chat, very happy that he finished. So now Julian still in contention for the championship, as we are really the first. We've just finished up the first quarter of the season, and we're heading to a road course, and Julian runs those fairly well as well. So I think that there's still a lot of racing to be decided in this league, but the top four definitely look very formative already, and we still have a lot of racing to go, though.
I've got a bold take for you, Gary. Next week, Lewis is going to win again, and he's not going to look back. He's going to take over the championship lead in a commanding fashion, and he's going to lead all the way to the end of the season. That's my pick for the chip this year for the VOR IndyCar IR18 series here on Saturdays. So hopefully one of you other drivers out there can step up, knock Lewis off the podium, or off the top stop of the podium, and prove me wrong. So,
any final thoughts here from Iowa before we head to Montreal?
I'm just so glad I get to call it again on Monday with Murph, and I'll tune in for sure to IES, the elite race tomorrow at Iowa after Votive is all wrapped up after the Daytona 500. So catch all that action tomorrow for the Votive Racing League from Michigan on P1 Broadcasting, and tune in next week when we have the Kentucky and the Montreal kind of doubleheader here in iconic and Bourne.
Checking chat here is Aiden Millward. He's happy that he got a finish. He gambled on safety cars, he says. That's so European. It's pace cars on ovals, Aiden. Pace cars on ovals. Okay, now we got that. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from the Iowa 300, presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning, is Luz Nunez, win number 2 in this series. Mark Murphy keeping it close to the championship, doing all he can, brings it home second. Matt Wagner, and a very good P3 for Matty Wags. All those finishes are going to pay off some point in this season, so we shall see as we head to our next race. Join us again next week as the IndyCar Championship continues the Season 13 grind with their second road course of the season, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Coverage, as always, will begin approximately at 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. And remember, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com and just search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of Velocity Online Racing, other iRacing programming, including action from the Iconic Series next week. And we'll be back in action with the IndyCar Championship next Saturday. And again, from Montreal. Today's Iowa 300 is brought to you by IFS Personal Financial Planning. IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in helping their clients make the most of their savings with holistic financial planning that is tailored to their specific needs over the course of their lifetimes. On average, they've been working with their clients for over 20 years, helping them navigate the complexities of investments, the uncertainties of markets, and the ever-changing legislative landscape. To learn more, contact Alexander Bonney at alex@ifspfp.com. Again, that's alex@ifspfp.com. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Simcams. Get the most of our iRacing experience with Whiplash. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on Instagram and X. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries and to learn more about Velocity Online Racing and what they do, visit velocityonlineracing.com, like them on Facebook or follow them on X. All the links you need are in the description. So for Clindy, everyone here at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Godsoe saying happy Saturday, happy day after Thanksgiving, everybody. Make sure you give your loved ones something special, and thanks for watching. And all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Montreal for the next race of the VOR IndyCar Championship. We'll see ya.